Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm your host, Ed, along with my co-hosts, Justin, Brad, and Dan here tonight. And as we film coming to you in the off season, there always seems to be news in the world of Dynasty, which is what we do most often. And so tonight, as we go around the table, we recently finished up all 13 rookie drafts of the Clownhead leagues that are in existence or going into year two. And so I just wanted to ask each person a little bit about what they saw in the drafts, or maybe what some observations that they came across. And so we'll start with Brad. Brad, what did you notice in the Clownhead drafts, or any draft in particular that you thought had something that was unique or something that really surprised you?
Yeah, I'm in the clown heads. Obviously, the tight end premium was it was a full go. We saw three tight ends taken in the first 13 picks in most drafts, with Kincaid, Mayer, and Laporta, and then we saw pretty much most of the tight ends that got drafted going in rookie drafts. Other than that, pretty standard with Bijan going number one, and then the three QBs going after. Pretty much take your pick with them. What wasn't too much that I thought was going to go crazy. Maybe a chain coming up so high.
And I guess I saw in one of the leagues, when you said about take your picks on quarterbacks, I think Stetson Bennett went in the first round in one of the leagues. So that was one that hit our string. So that sure surprised us, but the value of quarterbacks can be high. So I think there was a couple times that I actually saw Hendon Hooker go early too. So he went number 8 overall in one of the leagues. So those were kind of in your quarterback that were surprises, I think, also, Brad. How about you, Dan? Anything that surprised you? I know that you did take tight ends early, so you can speak to even what you did in your league where you drafted.
Yeah, I had quite a bit of draft capitals, and most of them were sitting at that 10, 11, 12 spot. And I thought that if you don't get your tight ends there, you might not be getting them by the time you pick again, because when I was watching the drafts, I'm seeing, Kincaid go 6, 7, and, right behind him, Meyer and Laporta. And I honestly think that was the right move. I think that they were worthy of a first-round pick with a 2 tight end premium. I was a little surprised on, I guess, Zay Flowers dropping like he did. I feel like he was of all the wide receivers, I felt like he consistently was the guy who was never picked in the first round. And maybe it's landing spot, maybe it's people just don't value him as a top receiver in the draft. I don't know, but I felt that if you were picking him at 2-3 or 2-4, you got a deal.
Well, and he went 2-3. He went number 15 as his lowest in the Clown League.
So 2-3, right? Exactly. Yeah. So, and then the other guy too, I felt had a lot of like hit or miss was Will Levis, and I think that's going to be interesting to see how he plays, what his role is on the team this year. And I think if he starts, and people who got him late in the second round, they're going to be pretty happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he had a wide range. He went from the number 6 pick in the draft to the number 17 pick in the draft. So
if you got him at 2-5, you're jumping joy.
Yeah.
And I did see in one draft, and I think it was a friend of mine, he actually drafted Hooker before Levis. Hooker went before Levis. So interesting.
Yeah, that happened. Hooker went as high as 8 and as low as 23. So he got the whole way to 211 in one draft, but then went as high as 8. So that was a big spread there, with the midpoint being 16. So it sounds like he went, up and down on that number pretty well.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin? You drafted in how many clown head leagues did you draft in?
Let's see, 4 or 5
Okay.
different ones. Pretty much the consensus was Bijan was going first pick overall off the board. First pick. Every now and again, I saw Anthony Richardson go off first, just because based on the need for the teams. A lot of people really didn't have a single quarterback that I've started to notice looking over teams, and they were having to take Anthony Richardson, which allowed Bijan to drop. Then Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, it was pretty much right after that on all of them. Same with Gibbs. One shocker for the tight ends that I didn't think was going to pick so high was Dalton Kincaid. Highest he went was number 6. I started seeing him going at the tail end of the first round, 8, 9, 10 area. And one draft I was watching, he went 6 off the board. I'm like, wow, okay. They're trying to bank on that 3-point PPR in our leagues. And then with Jordan Addison, he was another shocker for me off the board at number 5 overall. And so that was the first wide receiver going off the board, and latest someone got looks like 12, and Will Levis, highest 6 off the board. And then just like Dan mentioned, Zay Flowers, I saw some people getting him at the first end of the second round. I was like, wow, I wish I was in that draft. I'll be luckily great to have that when I've had my 2-3 pick. And then another guy I like, and I've tried to get in quite a few places, is Jonathan Mingo, wide receiver, Carolina. It was early to mid second round type of guy, and it looks like he lasted all the way to the end of the second round. That's the latest someone got him. And then I saw Luke Musgrave go in was it the first or second tight end went off the board in one draft, which that was a complete shocker for me, with him being in Green Bay with all the other tight ends there.
Yeah, it looks like he went number 11 in one of the drafts. So he went first round in somewhere. So.
Yeah, and that person traded up to get him, set Amari Cooper and something else for a first round pick, and got Musgrave. I mean, good for them. I hope it pans out.
Clown 5, yeah. Looks like that's where that was.
That was interesting. That was an interesting few minutes of clown heads, I can tell you that.
Yeah,
was it the same person that took Stetson Bennett and another one?
I think so.
Well, and what I've learned is I don't want to get too critical, because
absolutely,
man, it all changes. I mean, I go back to a trade that I made that a whole league was like really an upheaval. Like I got way too much, and the pick happened to be me trading away Jonathan Taylor, and I got back a bunch of guys that were like Trey Sermon type players. While they were first round picks, they were the right pick, but they amounted to nothing. I mean, they really did. And so it can really, really change the dynamic when it looks like you really want to trade. So I know that you guys are saying, hey, Bijan went number 1 a lot. And Justin, you alluded to this, but I really began to believe that the quarterback all-in philosophy that we spoke about last year in some of our videos really played a role in this draft. And so I was the beneficiary 2 out of 3 times. And so I'm in 6 Clownhead leagues, and I have Bijan Robinson in 4 of the 6. And I only had 2 number 1 picks. So half the time that I had the 1 or the 2, basically I got Bijan all the time. And so I feel like that was a value. Like it's it's all about draft and value for me, and I was able to get Bijan 4 times, and out of that. And so I was kind of looking over some of the other players that I really got shares of, and I realized that it's just about wherever the ADP was higher, or I'm sorry, lower, I was able to really cash in when people would let players drop and just be there to get them. Now there was another Clownhead league that I'm not in that Bijan went number 2, and in Clownhead F. So that did happen there. I was surprised personally by how high all the tight ends went. So that was a shock to me when I looked over things. And I was also surprised at how people didn't step for receivers. I mean, based on last year, we had 5 receivers go top 8 picks last year. Now, I knew there's more quarterbacks this year, but I was just amazed at how, Zay Flowers as the number 4 receiver off the board in most cases sometimes fell to the second round. Like, I know you guys were alluding to it, but I mean, I'm just saying wide receiver 4 was in the second round, and I've drafted a number of years in a row in rookie drafts, and I'm not sure if we've ever seen wide receiver 4 go in the second round, even when wide receiver 4 was Justin Jefferson, he was going in the league first, and when wide receiver 4 was Jalen Waddle, he was going in the first, and so I mean, I just go back and look over wide receiver 4 last year was Jamison Williams or Chris Olave. Somebody in that tier was wide receiver 4, and they were going middle of the first. And so, to find Zay Flowers going in the second, it was kind of interesting. With which I guess there's parity, or maybe the receivers aren't as sought after. So that was a real surprise for me with these drafts. And the other thing was it was far different than when we did our mock drafts. I guess that's the other takeaway I had. We did 3 mock drafts of 4 of us, and I'm like, wow, you know what? I mean, we didn't really get very close. So that was something that we alluded to, and we're gonna put this in the pins. So we'll have this sheet. This basically has every single pick in Clownheads, and I've scrolled through it here and had it on the screen. But it gives us all the ADP, it gives us positions, it gives all kinds of data. And so if you're a member of the Clownheads community, it's in the Discord as well as the link to this page, and we try to make that available in all the places that are in the Clownhead community. So feel free to preview it. You obviously see the picks I made as well. So if you draft against me in the future, you'll know exactly who I'm going to take. So I guess I'm just giving away all the secrets, but that's okay.
It starts with a Q and ends with a B.
Well, it does, except for Bijan Robinson, right? Like I took him 4 times. So I guess, when I was looking at it, who did I have the second most, of, I mean, it's guys like I got a ton of Tajay Spears and Jalen Hyatt. Oh, that's Brad's guy, but I have a bunch of him too. So
you big on Hyatt, are you, Brad?
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty good.
He's got a good opportunity with the lack of depth at receiver at the Giants,
Yeah. 2 out of 5 Michael Wilsons. So I had 2 Tajay Spears, 2 Jalen Hyatt, 2 Michael Wilson, 5 Sean Tuckers. Out of 6 teams. So I guess I'm a running backs guy, a receivers guy. I don't know. I'm everybody but the quarterbacks. I do have 2 Will Levises and 3 Hendon Hookers, but basically, I have 1 Stroud. I have no Richardson or Young. So there we are. I mean, I didn't get any of those top end quarterbacks. I was just taking Bijan everywhere I could. So that's kind of how we went. As we transition, we kicked off last week on Monday a best bets feature, and it was kind of on the premise of, hey, something to give back to the Clownheads community and kind of share what we do, right? So we're just kind of placing some bets, and we got halfway through the week last week, and Justin's raised his hand and said, hey, I know we bet golf, but how about you let me bet some of this, because he happens to be in a state where gambling hasn't figured it out yet, and he's paying his taxes, but they're not letting him gamble still. So I don't know what he's not talking to the right people in the right Congress, or the right legislators. So anyway, I'll turn the table over to him, or the microphone over to him, and let him kind of say, hey, why did you get involved in in best bets. And how was week 1 for you?
Well, you're telling me that you were up with 18, 19 units at one point. I'm like, wow, that'll pay for at least one league, almost 2 leagues right there. And then I was like, well, let's try this out. And we started off not too bad. I think we had a little tumble. What was it, Thursday? Because I joined Wednesday. We took a tumble Thursday, and but ended up making it up over the weekend, and was able to pay for my membership fee. So not bad after a few days of betting. Take care of my membership fee and look forward to making some more money.
There we go. So just to kind of give a quick rundown. So on Monday night, up 11.78 units. On Tuesday, we were up 6.5 units. On Wednesday, we were up 25.53 units. That's when Justin said, yeah, I better get involved here. This is 3 days in a row, and now you're up 25 units. If you're betting $100 a unit, you're up $2,500 in a day, and you're like, what's going on? And then you jumped in, Justin. So then we went up 0.28 units. But again, if that's $100 a unit, that's $28. So, and if it's $1 a unit, it's only 28 cents. But you have nothing risked at $1 a unit. So just kind of think about that. And then on Friday, that was our first loss day. So we had 4 days in a row up, and then we dropped 4.88 units, right? But then Saturday became a good day, and we were up just over 9 units. And Sunday, you'll see a bunch of our golf bets, which all lost, and we still figured out how to. Let's see where we are here. We were down 14 units on Sunday, including that I think 13 units in golf. So we were down just under a unit on Sunday. But the grand total for the week, we were up 34 units. So if you were betting with us all week last week, you would be pretty happy with the answer. And even if you were betting $1 a unit, I guess that's the real kind of interesting thing. At $1 a unit, you would have made $34 and pays for 3 Clownheads memberships. But if you were betting $1,000 a unit, you would have made $34,000 last week. So, I guess it's all relative, but it's just an interesting, go at it. So, we're at it again this week, and so tonight we're really cheering for Castellanos hitting a home run and Loreno hitting a home run. So those are our home run bets of the night. So try to do that on Tuesdays and throw a home run, bet out there. And so as we were coming on, Justin and I were looking at the speed of the first pitch thrown, and we hit a boost that we had there. So we were pretty excited about Scherzer and Severino throwing, fastballs on their first pitch. So that's kind of what we have going on in the best bets column, and I expect to take it into football season when we should have some pretty interesting props and pretty interesting betting strategies. And that's kind of the key to what we do. Is it's very analytical, and it's less about what we think, feel, or believe. It's more about the probability, and so that's kind of how we do our gambling. So that's the best bets column. Want to segment a little bit into a new league. So everybody that's part of the Elite Eight and has been part of that was a 96-team league. And we had a lot of fun with that last year for sure. And we broke it down every week and kind of went through what it is. And that really inspired a new league that is going to be the Big 12. And it's just kind of under the same premise, but 144 teams. So a massive league. And first place, $5,000. But another key piece to that is with 144 teams, we actually pay out 64 positions. And so there's 64 places to get paid. So you don't have to win the league to make money in the league. And that's a pretty important distinction. We are paying out a lot of different spots and really putting that 14,400, paying that out each and every year. So that's kind of what we have there. And, some of the differences, and I'm going to let Justin speak to this a little bit because he really inspired. This is a league where he kind of created the positions. And maybe they're a little bit more flexible than the Elite Eight, which was very regimented with two quarterbacks, two running backs, four receivers, two tight ends, and two flexes. So, Justin, I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but what made you come up with, hey, let's do a bunch of flex spots? What made you kind of go that direction?
Something different. Some different, definitely just a different overall ability to build a team. I was I was actually a conversation I had with my uncle last year, because we thought about doing a new home dynasty league, but it never took off. What if we can build a team with nothing but flex positions? And of course, you'll have either a quarterback and a super flex, or multiple super flexes. Just a different overall ability to build a team to give you multiple possibilities to win. That was the key part, was maximize the ability to win. And with our with our premium tight end positions, 3-point PPR with the tight end. You can fill all your flexes with tight ends if you so choose to. We can start at the three quarterbacks, having to start at least one. If you're really gung ho like me, Ed, and most of us here are on our quarterbacks, I mean, there you go. Start three quarterbacks, average about 30, 40 points a game. I think some of the high scores last year were high 70s, and I forgot who Tua played, and that was just a crazy high scoring game for a quarterback, with all the touchdowns and yards that was put together in that game. It's just another fun way to build your overall team.
Yeah.
That's
I think Kirk Cousins was a big quarterback. There was a game anyway where Kirk Cousins threw out of his mind, and I'm thinking he must have had some big yards. What kind of had me run with what Justin came in and kind of proposed the flex idea. I like different looks, right? So the goal, though, is to be able to build a team several different ways for me. Like, I want to be able to have the league be able to, you can go different ways. And I think actually this, even though there's an ability to start three quarterbacks, I think if you only have one to start, and the fact that you don't have to take a zero, it allows you to build different ways. If you decided, hey, I'm going to go get a bunch of tight ends, you may actually, if you had Kelsey and one quarterback, you'd be fine. Like you would have a chance in my mind to win just based on scoring. So I think that it does create another layer of flexibility in building. And so I'm anxious to see maybe how the drafts go differently with this different scoring setup. So we're going to have these 12, and then we're going to also have 5 standalone leagues that will have this. And then we're going to follow that up with 2 redraft leagues as well. So you can really get into a total of, I guess, 8 different leagues with this kind of positional battle. Only 6 of them would have the membership fee, because all of our redraft leagues, we don't require a membership fee because they don't have that Dynasty Empire pot to really guard and protect. So we just do have those redraft leagues exclusively for Clownhead members, and they are a little bit less expensive at $50 a team. So it is just kind of a little bit easier, on the purse strings to jump in several of them if that's where you want to do. We're working on putting some best balls together, so stay tuned for that. Over the summer here, we're going to throw some best balls available, and they too will have no membership fee for them. They're just going to be exclusively for Clownhead members, and just an ability to kind of jump in, draft against each other, maybe smack talk on the chat boards, and really add some smack talk, I guess you could say, to the group, and really give us a chance to have some fun. And we're still working on all the details, but more to come. And so keep your eye on the Discords for that, and or the channels on Sleeper. and anybody you know that you'd like to get in the Big 12, we'll put the link in this video so that you can, sign up and come and check it out. Check out the bylaws in the invitation league is what we have. We have several invitation leagues. You'll see them floating around in our marketing, and so just encourage you to check them out and join in and be part of the 144. Winner gets 5,000. So I guess that wraps it up tonight, guys. Thank you, guys. This is our first evening in 2023 of really recording post-draft. So as we get going and preview all the teams around the Clownhead community, I'm excited for even how we're going to break that down this year. So more to follow on that. So long for this week, and we'll catch you guys all next time. So for Justin, for Dan, for Brad, I'm Ed. So long for now.
All right.